Simon & Schuster Audio presents I'm Not a Terrorist, but I've Played One on TV. Memoirs of a Middle Eastern Funny Man by Maz Jobrani. Read by the author.
Introduction. Hello there. Thank you for picking up my book. Maybe you picked it up because you recognize me from a television show. Isn't that the guy from Better Off Ted and Knights of Prosperity and Life on a Stick? Whatever happened to those shows? What happens to actors when their shows get canceled? Well, listener, we write books. That's what happens when our shows get canceled. Maybe you've picked up this book because you saw the word terrorist on the cover and thought, I always knew this guy was a terrorist, always trying to convince the American public that he's a stand-up comedian. What a dirty piece of scum. He was never that funny anyway. Or maybe you're related to me and you thought, what the hell? Maz wrote a book? I wonder if he mentions me. I better buy a copy and check it out. Whatever the reason, thank you. Writing a book isn't easy. I'm a comedian, so I'm used to writing a few lines of comedy each day. But when I was faced with writing 200 pages, I was intimidated. I immediately began to think of ways to cheat. What if I double-spaced everything? Or maybe I could add 100 pages of pictures. That would really help move this baby along. However, once I began writing, it started to flow. After all, this is a story about my life. Who's more qualified to write about me than me? I've been studying me for 42 years. I'm an expert on me. I've got a PhD in me. I wrote the book on me. Literally. And what a life it's been. A classic immigrant story. A kid from the streets of Tehran moving to the streets of Los Angeles, which nowadays is packed with so many Iranians that it's basically like living back on the streets of Tehran. Along the way, I've experienced a revolution, a hostage crisis, and male pattern baldness. Writing a book is like going through a therapy session. It's amazing how much you forget about your past until you're forced to sit at a desk and put it down on paper. If you want to go through therapy but can't afford the payments, try writing a book. When you've got a busy life filled with work, family, car payments, Twitter feeds, and Facebook photos, you don't have as much time to reflect on your past. But when you have an editor with deadlines, you're forced to dig, and you find that you have stories to tell, like the one about how I was made to wear a turban on a Chuck Norris movie of the week. Yes, I know, you're jealous. Don't hate. We can't all be friends, or in my case, enemies, with Chuck. In imitation of the therapy...
Sample complete. Ready to continue?